Hey everyone, so today I'm going to demo for you how I use my cursor workflow. As we discussed, it really has three key steps. The first one is using ask mode to just understand and discuss and work through and really decide on the scope of the changes that I want to make. Once I feel like the chat agent and myself are on the same page, we build that into a clear plan using plan mode. And then once I've reviewed the plan and I've iterated the plan sufficiently, from here, then we move into agent mode and have it build out. Now, first I'm going to talk to you, I'm in the Peat platform currently. I'm going to talk you through kind of what I'm hoping to change, and then I'll show you kind of where I am in the code. So now the change that I really want to make is here. This is our very cool simulation feature. And at the end of the simulation, you get an assessment. But you can't really tell that it's an assessment right now because there's no assessment header here. And yeah, that's really what I want to add. I want to add an assessment header here as well as anywhere else where we have an assessment container, which would be like in the video call feature, as well as some other places that we'll see after this code all gets written. And I also want it to be localized so that when I switch languages to Spanish, the assessment header in the UI is translated into that language. And so that's really the scope of the change that I'm hoping to make. As you can see, this is not quote unquote like a full feature. This is not like the entire localization feature. This is really just, a small, maybe 3 to 5% step along the way of that journey. And I'm sure you've already talked about this ad nauseum, so I'll refrain from any more of that discussion here. But yes, let's walk through kind of what I have. So what I like to do is I just keep like kind of in a way, like a raw Kanban. I'm sure that every developer keeps some notes of their tasks. You don't have to pay too much attention to this. The point is like this is kind of where my completed tasks are. This is mostly for me, but I also use it to align with the agent as well. This is kind of what I was currently working on. And this is kind of like the next task I want to do. So basically I can just like copy this in and here, I'll just kind of walk you through where I am here. So I just kind of finished a previous plan and everything looked good. So I just kind of said, great, everything looks good. Let's call this part completed and move on. Let's create a commit message, etc. Now let's begin the next step. So I kind of like copy this, pass this in. All right, let's discuss the next step on our path. Now we want to add the assessment header where it's not obvious. For example, some pieces of the code already have like an assessment section header and other pieces do not. So we'll have to just add that assessment header in those less obvious places in the code base, in the product. And after that's completed, I want us to add a localizing UI header. And then I kind of ask for confirmation, like, does that make sense? And say, now let's agree on kind of the high level plan before we dig into any of the actual code. And so here it says, yes, that makes sense. Here's the high level plan. First, we'll start with the UI headers. It says these locations that already have UI headers, which is great. I kind of mentioned that. And then it says here the locations that need the header, which is also great. And then it asks kind of a question here. It says, it's debatable if this is necessary or not. So it's kind of asking me for confirmation here. Then it talks about the second phase, which is the localization piece, which I told it about as well. And then here it kind of has the questions explicitly asked. So really here is about this first piece, where do we need the filament admin view? And the next piece is kind of the styling. These two questions are about the styling. And so it kind of asked me those. So what I did was I kind of copied this, pasted it in and said, for these locations, if there's no clear UI element that says assessment, I think we need to add it. And so in the filament, I think it is needed because I don't think that there is an assessment header. And then I kind of answer its question about the UI stuff. And I say, these assessment containers are all pretty similar in styling, so we should go with a one size fits all approach, of course. And yeah, so kind of just answer both the questions independently, which is expected. And then it kind of searches through my code base, which is great. And it says, based on the current UI, here's my proposed one size fits all header approach, which is what I recommended. I recommended kind of like a one size fits all. And here's kind of the proposed style, some characteristics, small implementation plan. Keep in mind, we're still in ask mode here. So not sure if I mentioned this earlier, but yeah, I'm still in ask mode the entire time as I'm kind of working through these because I don't want it to make any code base changes yet. So here it kind of outputs the plan here. This is not really the plan mode, but it's still great for us getting on the same page. And then it kind of makes a note, the avatars use inline styles. to match existing patterns, and other places use the Tailwind classes, which is how the code base actually works, and it asks like, does this approach work for you? And so basically this is where I switch from ask mode into plan mode. And then I just say, yes, looks great, please build the plan. Make the final faces the localization JSON part. Thank you. And then here we can open this plan. So here's the actual plan that it decided to build. Kind of has a little, this is what we're doing today. Here's some context, design approach. It mentions my one size fit all approach that we agreed upon. And then here it has phase 1, which is one of my containers, phase 2, another container, phase 3, avatar transcript drawer, another container, and the final container. And then the last phase kind of mentions the localization JSON files that we need to also update and change. And so here, yeah, bingo. Perfect. And then so some gives me a little summary, like this is what we should expect when it's completed, which is great. And then there's normally a list of to-dos. I actually just reset the to-dos, so I guess those got removed, but we can have it, please add the to-dos to the plan. So because I'm in plan mode, it only has the ability to update this plan. I think you'll actually get to see it rewrite the entire plan. It kind of does that, which I'm not. This is all work in progress, I would just say. Small heads up. Okay, so now it added the proper to-dos and they're incomplete, which is great. So yeah, essentially from here, if everything looks good and I've checked it, everything does look good, I can just hit build. And so I'll just hit this build. I can kind of choose which model I want. Also keep in mind this is just a markdown file. It actually doesn't get saved to your code base anywhere. I don't even know where it is, like where this file exists. You can change it into markdown view if you want to look at it that way. I like the preview mode. It's pretty clean. And yeah, so it has like kind of my to-do list, and you can kind of see which one it's working on. You can also look here and see that it's making changes, and you can even review them as they come in. So this looks great. That's definitely the first one that I wanted. Now it's working on the next to do. So I can kind of click into this one. Yep, seems good. So you can even like kind of watch how it thinks, so you can see like the thoughts. Great. Now let me move on to the avatar transcript drawer. Started the next to do item. Voila, this one looks good as well. That's what I expect. And we can just keep going. Moves on to the next one and the one after that. Now it has 3 of my 5 to-dos completed, and maybe I can even click into this so you can see like all the to-dos that it has from my original plan. 3 out of them complete, and then I only have 2 left. So here's where it got stuck a little bit. It said that the EN-JSON and the ES-JSON are too large to read at once, but is able to grep through it, which is great. Oh, I guess it got stuck, so we can just hit try. Well, probably don't want to try it all again because a lot of this is good. We'll just say, please continue where you left off. With larger tasks like this one, which I think is like maybe a minute, 2-minute task, sometimes this can happen. So we can just have it continue by telling it like, please pick up where you left off. I think it actually completed this one as well, which is great. And if I'm, when I'm reviewing these, I can just kind of click in, and if it looks good, looks correct, looks how I'd implemented, I can just hit accept. This one also looks good, accept. Can come in here. I guess that one I already accepted. So this one I did not accept. Yep, that looks right. Hit accept. And then I guess this one is also not accepted, so I can just look at that. Yep, looks correct. Accept. And then voila. Now here, English.json. I think this one actually already had an assessment in it. So we got to be careful not to, oh, maybe it didn't. Oh, I think it's the Spanish one that already had it. So the Spanish already had assessment, but it just had to add it for the English. And the result, everything's done. There's only one change that I have not approved. I can hit keep on this one, and then I can just refresh my page and we can see what we got. Now while that's refreshing, I'll just say let's say that something didn't look good in the code or like in the product, right? What I would do next is the first thing I always do after I finish out a plan is I swap from agent back to ask mode. Because here you say oh, this didn't work exactly as I expected. And you do that with agent, it'll just be like, oh, I know what I did wrong. I'll fix it for you immediately. It doesn't wait for you to accept the changes. So that's why I always like to switch to ask. You can kind of investigate alongside it without the risk of it just starting to change your code base and make destructive changes, which no one likes. So the first thing I would do is say ask mode. This doesn't look exactly right. Can you try again on it? And yeah, then you can build another plan, approve the plan, let it go, etc. Kind of just repeat the workflow. So here we go. We can see that we have assessment here, which is great. If we switch to video call, we should also see an assessment here, so we can look into this one. Yep, assessment title here. We can also open the chat drawer. There should also be, yep, look at that right there. Pushing on all of this, we also wanted it to localize, so I can swap the language to Spanish, hit save, and if I come back to my courses, reopen that one, and it should be localized. So now it says, evaluación, which is accurate. I mean, as far as I'm aware. We also open it here. It should also say evaluación. Similarly with this one, evaluación. So yeah, it looks like all the changes look good.